All right, everyone. So today I wanted to talk about an item that gets brought up on my Twitch stream basically every single day. This has got to be one of the topics that I probably continuously feel like I'm answering questions about. So I wanted to use this video to just give you guys the facts and information on this item and why you want to be really careful buying too many of these. Now, the item that I'm talking about, of course, is going to be the Dragon Scale Fossil. Now, if you don't know what this does, you can end up exchanging 30 Dragon Scale Fossils for an Advice of Valks plus 20. So you can exchange 30 of them for a 20 stack, or you can exchange 350 of them for an Advice of Valks plus 40 or a 40 stack. Now, what's the purpose of this item? This is a massive convenience item. A lot of people really don't like the fail stacking process in enhancing, and I'm going to be honest, I don't really like it either. It's just kind of part of enhancing. You've got to do a lot of fail stacking to do your enhancing, and because a lot of people just really don't want to go through that process, this is a massive convenience item that you can buy off of the market in order to skip that step. Now, what's the problem? Why am I saying be careful with this item? Well, it's because of the cost, and it's the cost relative to how much convenience it actually saves you. And when you see how much money you're actually going to burn by using these, if you do a lot of enhancing, you're going to want to be really careful and try to avoid buying a bunch of these. Now, I will say, if you end up using, one or two of these, if you get a couple of 20 stacks every so often, just because, you really dislike fail stacking, you don't want to go through the entire boot process of reblathing plus 14 to 15. I get it. I understand. I don't like it either. I don't think anybody really does. It is a big convenience item, and it does save you that annoyance, but you really want to just stay away from using a lot of these or getting into the habit of using these frequently, because it's not until you use a whole bunch of these that you're really going to see how much profit it's going to be eating away at you. But when you do a lot of enhancing, if you're trying to do it for profit or you just do a lot of it like I do, I probably build hundreds of 20 stacks a day. At least 100 every chunk of enhancing that I do. You need to build up a ton of those 20 stacks in order to get those higher stacks. Basically, the higher fail stacks you're trying to get, the more of the lower stacks you have to build up and burn through in order to get those higher stacks. So you're already going to be eating a whole bunch of silver on the very first step of the fail stacking process, and that's not going to be a very good start for your enhancing for profit journey. So I'll go through the numbers, and you can actually see exactly how much silver you burn if you get into the habit of using these frequently. So if we go and we actually take a look at the market here, let's go to Dragon Scale Fossil, and you guys can see that they're actually all bought up right now here. This is a bit strange. It's kind of been like this today. I noticed I checked these a few times, but you can see how steep the price is on these right now. They're not always this expensive. Sometimes they're a bit cheaper, but you can see that over the last 3 months, they've been averaging about 400 or so thousand silver each, which is, that's a pretty decent price. Now, if you actually take a look and you see, you can turn in 30 of them for a 20 stack or 350 of them for a 40 stack. Now, the most common use for these is going to be for those 20 stacks. That's kind of the annoying process that a lot of people don't really like to do. That's what a lot of people like to bypass. So if you end up exchanging 30 of these for a 20 stack, basically, even if you were to get these for a lower price, like 400,000 silver each, if you need 30 of them, you are spending basically 12 million silver for a 20 stack. Now, if you don't really do a lot of enhancing, you might not know, is that a good price? Is that not a good price? What are stacks worth? Well, I will go ahead and share with you guys a chart here right above my head up here that will actually show you what it costs for you to actually build a 20 stack yourself with the regular Blackstones. And I'll just show you these Blackstones right here at a cost of 100 or so thousand silver each. If you actually build a 20 stack yourself, you'll see right there that you can actually build one for 3,553,721 silver. That's the exact number. Obviously, depending on your market, depending on the Blackstone prices, it might be a little bit more, it might be a little bit less. That's based off of a price of 100,000 silver each. That also includes the cost to repair the item, the boots, for 13,000 silver each. And you can see all the other detailed info as well, like how many attempts it's going to take you, how many Blackstones it's going to take you on average. What it boils down to, though, is that's a lot less than what it would cost you in order to buy Dragon Scale Fossils. If you were to buy the Dragon Scale Fossils, you're looking at about 12 million silver each compared to that cost of building the stack yourself for 3.5 million silver each. So If you actually are wondering like how much extra silver that is, basically you're paying more than triple the price to get that convenience item of the dragon scale fossils for that 20 stack, then it could cost you in order to build it yourself. You can see here about 3.4 times that. So between 3 and 4 times the cost to build the stack yourself. So basically you're spending an extra 8.5 million silver for that convenience. This is why I said at the start of the video, this item, it's okay like if you want to buy 1 or 2 of these sets, like because you just need a quick 20 stack just to get something done, like you just need it, you don't want to get your boots, you don't want to go through that really annoying process, like 1 or 2 of them every so often, like it's fine. I get it, it's a convenience item, totally okay. And I understand a lot of people don't really do a ton of enhancing, so they're probably not going to be using a ton of 20 stacks, and like a couple of these here and there, totally okay. It's not until you really get in the habit of using a ton of these continuously for your 20 stacks where you're going to really start to see that silver add up. Now, I want to go through another number here, and that is like, what is the amount of silver per hour that it's going to essentially cost you in order to be using these compared to doing the fail stacking yourself? Well, on a very, very, very conservative number here of like, if you can build 60 20 stacks an hour, and I'm going to be honest, it's probably actually closer to twice that number. It's probably 100 to 120 20 stacks an hour is what you can end up building. Even at just 60 20 stacks an hour, say you're being slow, lazy, watching streams or whatever, if you're paying that extra 8.5 million silver for those 20 stacks, basically you're spending 510 million silver. So over 500 million silver per hour buying fossils and skipping out on the fail stacking process. Now, I understand that like some people grind and they make some really good money from the new grinding spots. Basically, you're paying the exact amount that you can make at the maximum from these new grinding spots for those fail stacks compared to fail stacking. And at that point, I understand that like the numbers might be the same, but at that point, you're just spending so much extra for your fail stacks. Like it's just going to be better to buy your gear. Like there's no way you're going to be compensating. It's just not going to happen. Like just buy your gear at that point. Unless you're working on an item where you can't end up buying it off the market, you're never going to be able to make up for that incredibly crazy price. Well, now that I talked about fossils and why you might want to stay away from them, I thought that I would also offer a very quick introduction here to the alternative option, because I don't think I've really talked about this too much. So what would you do besides fossils? Like what if you really don't know how to build up 20 stacks? What is that option that I mentioned where it's, 3.5 million silver each instead of 12 million or 14 million silver, whatever it is that fossils cost, a crazy, crazy amount. And that's just going to simply be reblathing plus 14 to 15. So basically you would go to the blacksmith here, you would buy these reblath boots. You could even buy the gloves if you want. It doesn't matter as long as they're the cheaper vendor price. But basically what you do is you buy these, and then you have to end up getting a base item up to plus 14. You only have to do this once per boot. You never have to do it again, and I'll show you guys basically the process of that. Obviously, if you don't have like a whole bunch of slots on the Naderspan, don't worry about it. You only have to go through this process once. Just level up your boots normally. The only thing I would pay attention to is like when you're actually going through the levels past plus 5, if you end up getting to a fail stack that's like relatively high, just check the force enhance and make sure that you're not going to use a stack higher than what the force enhance cost is. Obviously, at that point, just force enhance it. You don't have to min-max this. You don't have to be super efficient. All you have to do is get it to plus 14 one time. And then basically what you do at that point is this is a very, very good level in order to build your fail stacks. And all you do is just build up your fail stacks by clicking on these plus 14 boots. Every click is going to take an armor stone. And again, you see these numbers here. That's the average of what it's going to take for you to end up getting a 20 stack. So all you do is you just keep clicking, and we'll actually go until we hit a plus 15 boot, because occasionally you're going to succeed. You're going to lose your stack, which, that's just part of the process. That's enhancing for you. And if you do this a lot, sometimes it feels like it happens too much. That's how it goes. But let's go, and let's go until we hit a boot at plus 15 so I can show you what we're going to do here. And we're going to go into 20, and then I'm going to start a new stack here. So I have a whole bunch of them here because obviously I do a lot of enhancing. So getting to 20 is actually about a 50-50 chance. So this is already reasonably good luck. Oh, there we go. Right as I say something, of course, it succeeds. There we go. So now we hit the plus 15 boot. And what you do here is, unfortunately, you do lose your stack. You have to start over. It happens. It's about a 50-50 chance or so in order to get to plus 20. A little lower than that, but it's close to 50-50. And now what you do is you just end up going over to the church here. And what you can do at the church is pay 100,000 silver to actually end up de-leveling a piece of plus 15 gear back down to plus 14. So you go over here, you go to cleanse gear, you go to reblath shoes, skip the animation, of course, cleanse the gear, and now it'll turn that plus 15 back into a plus 14, and essentially you can just go and restart the process. Don't go too high, of course. Around 20 is basically as high as you need to go, because if you do succeed, you basically just lose all those black stones. That's just a part of the process. Even though you lose those black stones, it is the cheapest way to build up those 20 stacks. You can see that this process is much, much cheaper than the alternative of buying those fossils where you're spending 3 to 4 times the price. You do have to run back to the church if you end up doing these boots. If you do more enhancing, if you build more than one of them, that saves you more time of having to run back to the church. But this is definitely the option that if you do decide to do more enhancing in the future, you're going to want to go with something like this much more so than getting into the habit of buying those fossils. So I thought I would throw that in there as the alternative. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, though. I wanted to give you all the facts, all the info, tell you guys to be careful with those fossils, and that's going to be about it for today. So if you guys did enjoy and this helped out, consider subscribing to the channel for more videos like this in the future. Feel free to check out the Twitch stream, twitch.tv/salt. I'll leave a link in the description where basically every single night except maintenance night, I'm doing enhancing and all sorts of fun stuff over there. 10, 20, 30 billion silver. I know the other day I did, like 10 pen. I don't think it was 10. I think it was 6 or 7 pen accessory attempts, a whole bunch of TED accessory attempts. Like, we do some crazy stuff over there, lots of enhancing. So feel free to check it out. But with that being said, thanks again, everyone. Have a good one. Take care. And until next time.